It's another piece of slang that never really survived the end of a decade.
Don't even want to know.
Sort of like radical. No one really says radical anymore, do they?
Well,
but it was big in the 90s.
Don't even want to know how you know all that.
You know what? I don't know why I know that means that. Anyway, here we are for round 2 of On the Couch Chair Edition. What did we see this time? Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End.
Sure.
No. But it's a very similar title.
The World's End.
Yeah, the end of the Corneto Trilogy.
Directed by Edgar Wright, written
Sean Penn and
Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. And the other guy?
Nick Frost.
Nick Frost, thank you.
The guys who were Sean and Ed from Shaun of the Dead, and Nicholas Angel, and Danny Butterman from Hot Fuzz.
Damn, you're good with those names.
They're 2 of my all-time favorite movies.
They are
Shaun
really
of the Dead
funny
and Hot
movies.
Fuzz are in my top 10 list.
Right, yeah. I honestly, I'm gonna probably be in the minority. I like this one more than Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
I did not.
Yeah, I said I was probably going to be in the minority on that opinion, because, how should I put this? Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz were so much more quotable and funny than this movie.
I feel like I was drunk just watching this movie.
Oh, God.
I mean, it was still good. It was still good.
It goes really mindfucky there.
I want to drink after watching that movie.
And, okay,
I'm
I saw this movie before he did. He just bought it and saw it now. And apparently he also didn't see any of the previews that kind of gave away the fact that there are alien robots in this movie.
And I did what? Call everything about the entire movie before it even started?
No, actually you had a very surprisingly low call count for this movie. I think you only got it right twice.
I was still doing it.
You were still doing it, but you were wrong.
I called the important things. The fucking alien bullshit.
Well, I mean, the moment someone's head shatters to pieces off of their neck and it's blue, where else are you gonna go with that?
I called before they did that, though.
I just want to say...
Simon Pegg was in the bathroom fighting with that one kid, and that shit he was doing was like some Matrix fighting bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what is this, dude? Like some kind of alien or something?
Okay, we'll get to the fight scenes later, but I do want to say this. They're not fighting humans, they're fighting robots, but if you've ever played a video game where you shoot robots instead of humans, they're not as much fun to kill. These robots are filled with blue stuff. So when you smash them apart, it splatters really satisfying.
And we got blood on our hands. It's actually more like ink. We got ink on our hands. Like, are these guys robots? No, they're not robots.
Gay
There's some kind of... Hey, are these guys robots?
Well, robot means slave, and we are anything but slaves. So, Sean Pegg? Simon Pegg. I keep thinking he's Sean White, and I know that's wrong, but my brain keeps doing it. So, if you've seen the first 2 movies on the Corneto Trilogy, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost have essentially swapped roles.
Nick Frost is no longer the lovable oaf he was in, goddamn it, dog, Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz. He's actually the responsible person.
Despite being totally awesome at kicking ass with his rugby skills.
Oh God, he was
wrecking!
Murdering everything.
He
takes the bar stools, puts them on his arms like gauntlets. I hate this place!
He's like a 5'6" wrecking ball. But yeah, so they've switched positions.
Not Nick Frost, damn it. Simon Pegg is actually the asshole who's completely useless. The drug addict, the drunk.
Now he's a fast-talking jerk. He's not like Nick Frost, who were morons. They were slow, stupid morons. This guy is a self-serving, fast-talking, manipulative asshole. Who knows how to have a good time? He knows how to have a good time.
He was actually really good at that role, because remember I said up at the beginning of the movie, he's doing a really good job of making me hate this guy.
Yeah, it's the whole sort of story where a whole bunch of friends go back to their old times and relive their high school life, and then normally in comedies like that, the wild partier is the guy you're supposed to sympathize with. No! We are not on his side in this movie.
He owed his best friend $600. He got that $600 by borrowing $200 from everybody else.
my God, this movie just had a great cast. Like, not just the two guys.
I'm pretty sure
they had the guy who played Bilbo as one of their friends.
Pete and Oliver. They were the Detective Andys from Hot Fuzz.
Really?
Yeah.
I would believe it, because there's like a stable of British actors, and those guys are probably in it.
Actually, no, it was...
Oh!
Peter and Steven, they were the ones from Hot Fuzz. They played Detective Constable Cartwright and Detective Sergeant Cartwright.
Pierce Brosnan shows up for essentially a cameo, and then gets his head smashed in because he's a robot. So, if you're not a Pierce Brosnan fan, and a lot of people aren't...
Who the hell is Pierce Brosnan?
Pierce Brosnan was the teacher.
Huh.
He was one of the lesser James Bonds. The one from the 90s who did Goldeneye.
Really?
Yeah, he was James Bond for like 4 movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
That ended quickly for him.
They weren't making quite as many James Bond movies by the time the 90s rolled around.
No,
so
I mean him being in that movie, considering he was James Bond.
Yeah. He wasn't in it for very long. But, Gary King comes back and tries to get them all together for a pub run? Is that the... Pub crawl. Pub crawl, that's the term. I'm sorry, I'm not a drinker.
I used to be. I might have to be now after watching that movie.
So when they were kids in Newton, which got nuked. I don't know why that makes me think of Fallout 3.
Maybe because the town was called Megaton, built around a Megaton bomb that you actually had the option of setting off.
I usually disarmed it.
Yeah, I'm usually a prick in video games. What's your point?
No point.
Look at me at.
I was wearing that.
Well, now it's mine.
I'm not wearing it right.
Either are you now.
Alright, so he gets them all together for a pub crawl that they failed to complete as kids. They got to 9
The
out of
Golden
12.
Mile, which is basically 12 pubs.
All over the town.
And the last pub is the World's End.
Which is an odd name for a pub. Like, all the other ones are called, like, the Mermaid, the King's Crown, the Post Box, you know, very...
The First Stop.
Yeah, they're all very, like, down-to-earth kind of things, and names you would think a pub would have. But then there's the World's End, whose sign is literally the earth on fire.
Yeah, considering it's the 12th pub and something called the Golden Mile, which is a fucking pub crawl, it seems kind of appropriate.
Yeah, it is appropriate.
Although it doesn't seem like many people would go to that one.
No, it seems like... And it's on, like, the edge of town, too. Yeah, it just seems like, no reason to go...
If you manage to make it there while doing Golden Mile,
yeah, I can't imagine... But even before the town got taken over by robots, I can't believe that one got a lot of business.
And by the time you made it there, you're
actually,
so fucked up.
Why did the robots even eat or drink? I mean, they obviously didn't need to. They didn't really have internal organs.
Blending in!
I guess.
They're blending in!
Which is the key component of why they continue the pub crawl even after they discover the town is taken over by robots. Because their plan, which was come up while they're drunk and by Gary King, who really wants to complete the pub crawl, is that, well, the robots will catch on if we stop the pub crawl, and then they'll pull us over in the middle of nowhere and turn us into robots too, so we should continue the pub crawl and keep getting drunker. Which was a great plan for this movie, probably a bad plan for their survival.
Considering only 3 of them made it out of there alive.
I guess you could say all of them made it out alive if you want to get all semantic-y with what the robots actually were.
Nope.
Okay, so he doesn't want to get all semantic-y with what the robots were. So only 3 plus the girl made it out. And the girl's another big actress. I've seen her in a lot of stuff. I can't remember her name, though.
I want to say she was one of the... No, she wasn't in Shaun of the Dead.
No. Although, the guy with the Bluetooth, he was in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Oliver,
he was the boyfriend of the mirror group of people. Yeah, there was the other lady with her mirror group of friends to Sean's with the golf club. Her boyfriend was that guy.
So he had a
really quick scene in that movie.
And then they brought him back for a bigger role.
Yeah, they brought him back for this, now that he's made it big with his work in The Hobbit. And some other movie I'm sure he's done that I'm sure I've seen him in other things. He's very familiar to me. So, I've seen this before. What were your, what did you really take away from this?
I now have all 3 of the movies.
You do have and they are calling it the Corneto Trilogy, even though there's hardly any Cornetos in it.
There was no Cornetto in this one. There were Cornettos in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
There was a Cornetto rapper in this one, though. Right at the end.
Red Cornettos in Shaun of the Dead for, like, the blood and gore. Blue Cornettos in Hot Fuzz for the whole police gig. And then a green Cornetto rapper, which was, like, some kind of mint, I believe the rapper said, for, like, the whole alien thing.
I think it's just because they didn't want to have... I think you're reading way too much into the Cornetto thing now at this point. There was a Cornetto rapper in it because everyone other than the filmmakers decided to call it a Cornetto Trilogy.
It's actually called the Cornetto Trilogy.
It wasn't planned to be. It's not like with the...
no, it was.
No, it wasn't planned to be a Cornetto.
That's Edgar Wright's joke for all three of the movies.
I know,
Cornetto.
but look, I'm saying it wasn't planned in the way that the Lord of the Rings was planned to be a trilogy.
I want a Cornetto now.
You're gonna have to try... It's like trying to get Lucozade over here. You can't get it. I've been to Britain. Lucozade is their version of Gatorade. It's not bad. But, yeah, and you can see Lucozade in Shaun of the Dead, actually, when he opens up the fridge and is like, Pepsi or Diet Coke, whatever the hell he pulled out.
You mean when he's so used to his boring routine...
That he doesn't even notice the goddamn zombies.
That he doesn't notice the damn blood handprint on the window.
God, yeah. So, yeah, this whole movie, they got the whole 5 friends together. How did he get them together again? What was this?
He went around one by one telling each of them that everybody else was already in with them, and it's them.
We got an interruption there, that's why, with the time skip and the magical appearing hat, because errands need to be run after we're done filming this. So where were we? I forget where we were. Oh yeah, he was getting the gang back together, and how did he do that?
He went to each of them one by one, telling that person that everybody else was in, but that person.
And
it's like,
it was always Andy, his best friend, Nick Frost, who was...
the responsible one and wouldn't drink. He hadn't had a drink in 16 years. Of course, after the alien thing, it's like...
Oh, God!
We should all leave.
Shots!
Well,
Shots!
Well, I think we should... After they found out the whole alien robot thing...
Please drive us out of here, Andy.
And he's just like, shot.
It's like, I am not nearly drunk enough for alien invasions.
Hadn't had a drink in over 16 years, and he's just like, each shot. Nope.
And Andy and Gary King had a falling out over something that I don't really want to spoil because it's that moment. This movie pulls the heartstrings when it wants to. Like it's pretty seamlessly switches from Gary King being the comic relief asshole to being a very tragic figure. Because this guy is still driving the same car since the 1990s, is still wearing the same clothes since the 1990s, and still has the same tape deck he owned in the 1990s in his car. And this movie is set now.
Oh, Pete, I finally found your tape, by the way. Really? Where was it? In the tape deck.
Whoa. I was like, how did you find your tape deck? It was in the car. And everyone's getting really freaked out at that point. They're like, oh my god, have you moved an inch?
Two of the characters, I believe it was Oliver and Peter, kept saying WTF, literally those 3 letters over and over.
Oh, probably one of the best lines in the movie.
And
Gary King.
Simon Pegg, or Gary King, says, what the fuck does WTF mean?
And then
Oliver comes out of the bathroom. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Oh, that's what it means.
That was right after they had a hell of an awesome punch-up with 5 young kid robot things.
What the fuck does WTF
And Oliver was worthless. Oliver was the worthless one of the group, although he did get his revenge on that.
It was
one.
Oliver or Peter?
I'm pretty sure
Oliver was the blonde one.
Then it was... No.
I'm thinking it was...
No, Peter was definitely the one with the Bluetooth. So Oliver was the... God, we can't remember. There were 5 of them. It's hard to keep the names straight.
I can remember the 3 that lived. It
Gary and Aaron, and then there was... Sam was the tall one?
Sam was the girl, Steven was the tall one, there's Gary King and Andy.
Then Oliver and
Gary,
Peter
Andy,
were the ones who
Oliver,
died.
Peter, Sam.
Oliver and Peter were the ones who didn't make it, so... Spoilers! Woo! Spoilers! And, so yeah, Andy wants absolutely nothing to do with Gary King because of a falling out they had, but...
Because he's an asshole?
He lies! He pretends his mom is dead, and this is a sort of tribute to her
for all we
memory.
know, she could have been dead. That was her alien calling. Or robot.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck those things were.
Turns out, let's try not to spoil that big climax moment with the aliens, because boy is that scene amazing. But, vaguely, the alien invasion is not just Newton. It's not just their old hometown.
Basically, the only spoiler I'm gonna give is the aliens, after talking to Gary King, are just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're out. And then they leave.
Yeah.
Not before. Yeah.
But, yeah, if you need to see this movie, if only just for the fight scenes, which are, like, the best barroom brawls ever.
In a comedic sense.
Yeah,
yes.
because everything explodes into blue ink. And they're ripping arms off of robots, because they come apart like action figures.
Like mannequins.
Yeah, and beat them to death with their own arms. And then there was a set of twin robots where one put on, like, got her arms ripped off, so she attached the legs of her twin sister robot to her arm sockets and is attacking them with leg arms.
I did that once while I was playing Dungeons and Dragons.
You took the legs off of a skeleton or something and used them as weapons.
Oh no, my so-called teammates were trying to turn me in for a bounty. And when the city guard came to arrest me, I made attack rolls so high I killed like 17 guards before they actually subdued me.
That's nothing.
I was ripping their arms off and beating them with it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's nothing like what I described with a robot having legs for arms, which is what I was talking about.
I was an orc berserker. I did eat my way out of jail though. I ate through the jail bars.
What were your teammates doing? It's like, were they
they
role-playing off in a forest hundreds of miles away from your prison cell and the dungeon master was just like...
they turned me in for a bounty. They went to the tavern.
Meanwhile...
They went to the pub. To the pub.
Meanwhile, the dungeon master must have had a serious case of meanwhiles.
No, he just told me to keep making rolls until I got out of there.
20, thank God! So, yeah, see it for the fight scenes, and for that last 20... It's kind of... I suppose you could say it's something like the last 20 minutes of Hot Fuzz, without the really slow build-up that Hot Fuzz had. Like, most of Hot Fuzz was just kind of clever and silly, and then there was a cult and all of a sudden a shootout with old people in the streets of Britain, which was hilarious. And this one actually kind of works backwards. Like, it's insane... up until the last minute, where all of a sudden it's just talky, but still hilarious. Oh, God. You know, I think it would make a great movie night to see all three of these movies back to back.
In order, of course.
Yeah, in order. You got to do them in order. Because
and after we watch World's End, we watch Shaun of the Dead again, because that was the best one.
I'm still leaning to this one being my favorite. And I've seen Shaun of the Dead recently. I very much like that movie.
Pop quiz. Why is Shaun of the Dead my favorite one?
Zombies.
He wins a cookie.
What kind of cookie?
Think of one, because I don't actually have a cookie to give you.
I have a funny joke for an episode where you drive up to the house and you like try and get in, but Captain Timo doesn't let you in, and then you offer us cookies.
Okay. Are they laced with poison?
No. You're legitimately offering us cookies because you think that'll get you in, and it would if you brought the right kind of cookies. It's a joke.
We'll work on that.
You know better than to tangle with Captain Timo at this point.
It still doesn't stop me. I'm gonna kill him in one episode eventually.
Alright, fine, have your way. So
mostly because it's the Timo hat. I fucking hate Timo.
Everyone hates Timo. If you haven't played League of Legends, Timo is that guy. That guy that everyone hates. The one who has the really annoying power set that isn't particularly deadly, but is really obnoxious and hard to deal with. I mean, his basic move is stand still and turn invisible. You'll never find him! Oh, God. But yeah, this is an excellent movie. It just came out on DVD. We literally went and bought it between episodes. Like, we finished watching A-Team, got some food, and then went and bought The World's End and watched it. So
2 videos,
1 night. 2 videos in 1 night. So yeah, there's
not
not much.
Why are we putting both these up in the same?
I'll put them up a little different. I'll put them up a little separated. You guys are getting a deep insight to the creative process here. Totally off the cuff, whatever the hell I felt like.
Basically.
But yeah, there's not much to say because it's a good movie, which never, unless it's like a really deep Inception style movie where there's like layers upon layers of plot.
Dream within a dream within another dream within a fourth dream,
which is in limbo.
And even limbo is in a dream.
God, I've known people who've seen that movie several times and are still not clear on what the hell happened.
Oh, I'm very clear on what happened.
But unless it's a movie like Inception, good movies don't give us a lot of material. And if it's a comedy, we don't want to spoil it. Because it's a comedy. It's not as funny the second time you see it. I was still laughing my head off, and this is the second time I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, if it was an action movie, you can talk all you want about it. People are still going to go see it. Know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like, that was awesome.
What are you going to do? Not see the robot swing a ship, a boat. A robot swing a boat in a monster's face. Yeah, we can describe it, but until you see it, you have not experienced the awesomeness that is Pacific Rim.
Go Pacific Rim.
Represent!
Such an amazing movie.
Definitely one of my favorite action movies of all time. But anyway, we've wandered. Have a good night, people.